I've got a Robotron down in my basement, and and it's like every now and then I just have to go down and kick its butt. I mean, it's just, I've got to, you know, just kick its ass. And unfortunately, if I haven't played in a while, I'll get down there and it'll just humiliate me. Now, every Robotron player that's really into it these days plays it at 10. You have to play it at total maximum difficulty. Otherwise, you can just play it forever and it's not interesting. But at 10, it is a real nasty, mean game. And it takes you maybe an hour or two just to get warmed up. You know, the game will just kick your ass and humiliate you, and you'll get 80,000 or 100,000 or 150,000. You're just crying out, and you just like want to kill it. You're grabbing the game by the joysticks, and you're just shaking it and slamming it into the wall. And eventually, you get to the point. It's almost like warming up for a basketball game or something. You get to the point, you're sweaty, and you've got this kind of attitude. You cannot win until you have this attitude, this total mindset of just total concentration and total rage. You've got to be pissed off. But when you're on, it's just such a thing of beauty. You know, you'll get on a roll, and you'll just like be cleaning off wave after wave after wave of them, and you're just like, ah, yeah. But inevitably, you like start getting lazy, and you'll start getting too cocky, and then before you know it, you'll just like lose 4 or 5 guys in a row, and you're in some horrible situation. And the quarks are just like keep multiplying and keep putting out tanks. So the spheroids just keep putting out enforcers, and you kill out a few, and they keep putting out more. And then again, you have to buckle down and you know, get back to it, and somehow conjure up that rage from within you, you know, to keep going. You know, and it's kind of the cycle of conquest, and then of getting your butt kicked, and then of going back and keep coming back, and if you can stand this for like a few hours, you can reach 1,000,000 points. And I understand now that's kind of my personal ambition. I mean, there's players that do 5 or 10 million, unfortunately, but my personal thing is like to do 1,000,000, and I don't think I've quite achieved that even yet to this day. I've had like a 900,000. I've had several 900,000 games, and somehow at 940,000, I'll just get weak in the knees, and I won't have it, you know. And I just like I'm watching helplessly, you know. I've just, you know, maybe I'd had a run of 100,000 points on a previous guy, but some reason I'm just sitting here and I'm helpless and I'm crumpled, and I'm just like a sweaty, limp dish rag, and something I can't get over that 1,000,000 point barrier. But that's still my personal ambition. I know someday I'm going to kick that game. You know, I'm going to kick its butt. I'm going to beat it. And, you know, until then, the basement appointments will continue. It was like I remember management came down. This was about 3 months before the show, before we had to finish this game. And management came down and goes, man, this game is a pile of shit. I mean, this game is so stupid. I mean, what are these people on here? I mean, where are you going? You know? It was like, you know, they were saying, okay, you got to get rid of these stupid astronauts out of there, you know, and get some game going here. You know, because it's pretty really crazy. Because the night this was insane actually. At the time, for our development system, we used this thing called a Motorola Exerciser, which was this huge, probably the most bloated, overpriced computer ever created. It was a dual floppy disk system. They used 8-inch floppy disks, which were like, you know, enormous, held like, you know, 10 bytes on them, and you had this $20,000 box that, I mean, would only work for like 3 or 4 days at a time before something failed. You know, it was horrendous. So it got to the point late in the project where it was taking like half an hour to just assemble the program, and so it was, and the odds of actually getting an assembly that actually made it were so low that the last week of the project, we just essentially just object code patches. We left the computer on. The program was in memory. Thank goodness there never was a power failure. And we just made patches in the code and just kind of stuffed them in there for the different bugs. And then it was like 4 a.m. and it was like, okay, we got to burn the ROMs for the show. And we like burned them. We like took everything was stuck in this computer memory, so we had to like pull out the bytes essentially, and then burn them into EPROMs. And we did it, and like it was at 6 a.m., plugged them in, they didn't work. I was like, oh, you know, it's like, what happened? You know, did we bend a pin? Did we, you know, of these, you know, 12 ROMs, you know, what was screwed up? And we just burned them again or something, and they were like all blank or something. I don't know what it was, but finally we burned them again, and we got the damn thing working. And we like took these chips to the show. The cabinets were sitting on the show floor, like awaiting this program. You know, so we got to the show at like 7 a.m. and, you know, plugged in the chips, and the thing came on, and it was just like, we just go, oh my God, it worked. You know, we were just, you know, couldn't believe it. It was like we were just so high from like not sleeping, and, you know, it was just this ultimate high to like just this thing actually worked. You know, and then the show, it was the the Amusement and Music Operators Association, the AMOA, which is the big coin-op, quarter-eating game show, and in the United States, and mostly attended by game room operators and arcade chain executives and various other industry hacks. And the thing is, that the tragic thing is, none of these people actually play video games. You know, and we had Defender out there, and nobody would play it. I mean, they were afraid. They were so afraid of this game that I had to like spend my time trying to lure people into our booth to like play the game, and they'd want to watch me play the game, or, you know, sometimes we'd have a couple of kids in there playing the game, but mostly the game was empty because everybody was so afraid of the game. I guess it was all the buttons. You know, we just had so many buttons on there. That, you know, people just go, man, I just can't deal with this. So it was kind of, you know, people kind of, I thought it was kind of a bomb, you know. The buzz on the show was like Pac-Man and Defender were like bombs. Pac-Man because it just played forever and it wasn't exciting, and Defender was like way too complicated to play. And people were thinking this game Rally X, which was a little car racing game, was like the big game of the show. So it's kind of like, well, we go, oh, okay, it's kind of cool, you know. Maybe we'll sell 1,000 games or something, you know. Maybe some suckers will buy them. But you know, at the time, it seemed like it was a bomb. But I don't know, we were just so high from finishing the thing that it wasn't disappointing at all. In fact, I don't know, we kind of maybe were proud that it intimidated everyone, you know. It's like we were kind of proud that the game like freaked people out, you know. We stuck it out in an arcade, and the first night I didn't even show up. You know, I mean, you stick this thing out. You've been working on this thing for months. You almost got fired. You know, I mean, there was a point where I cleaned out my desk. You know, in like the dark days when I was working on the astronauts, I'd actually cleaned out my desk and had put all my stuff in boxes. I mean, I was that close to like just quitting, and so I just didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to find out what people really wanted, like, so I didn't show up first night. And second night, I go out to the arcade, and the place was just, there was like people 10 deep watching Defender. There was people sitting on chairs and couches and like camped out around this game. And at that point, I figured, wow, I think they will soon realize that humans are nasty little things. You know, they're trying to blow up things. They got car bombers. They got nuclear terrorists. You know, all these mass murderers. You know, all these nasty little habits that humans have. You know, create wars, threaten to blow up the world. You know, endangering the entire planet. I mean, it's clear that humans are psychos, and for their own protection, you know, we'll have to be confined in safe zones. What happens is the brains, their algorithm, which was supposed to be seeking out the closest human and then go and reprogram them. That was supposedly their algorithm. Something got screwed up, which actually I never really looked into it. Didn't really want to know because it was working good. But they all turn out they initially will seek the first human, which in the case of the first brainwave is Mikey. There's one Mikey and there's all these other mommies. And so they're all going for Mikey. If you can keep Mikey alive, don't pick him up and don't allow the brains to kill him. If you can keep him alive, then the brains will continually try to seek him and they won't program any of the other mommies. And so in that situation, you can basically kill all the brains, but you have to leave one left so that the wave doesn't end. And this is the horrible thing, is that so often you'll like kill the last one, or it'll be a grunt will be left or something, and then it'll run into like an electrode, you know, before you picked up this treasure trove of points, which is all your humans are just waiting out there, and you wait for one turn. You want to pick them all up in one turn so you can turn them all into 5,000s. But if you somehow blow it, then you get nothing.